Hi. What? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla. So in non-Kayla fashion, I am actually going to film a wrap up for you guys. I never do these, but I didn't read a whole lot and I have some thoughts. So here is what I read in the month of September. In September, I literally had, like, the first 2 weeks, I had a really bad reading month. I didn't read a thing, like, at all, like the first 2 or 3 weeks. So the first book that I finished in September, I didn't finish until the 21st, and that was White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. I actually gave this 3 stars, and I wanted to love it. I really thought I was gonna love it, but the reason why it was kind of middle of the road for me was there were big chunks of the book that I was confused. I didn't feel anything for the characters until it kind of got to the end where, like, the big twist was. So this book is basically about a girl and her mom, her brother, her stepdad, and her stepsister, and her mom gets, like, this fellowship at this new town. So they move to this town, they move into this house. It's completely, like, rent-free. Like, they live there just because the mom got this, like, fellowship thing. And the street they live on is weird. The town people are weird. Like, there's just, stuff is not right. And so as you go along, it's kind of, I believe I read that it was like Get Out meets something else. And while I enjoyed it, again, like, it just was confusing, and it didn't, the only thing I really liked about it was the big twist at the kind of towards the end, because I didn't guess it. Like, and that's on me, because when I'm reading, if I'm reading a thriller and there's, like, a twist coming, I don't like to speculate unless it's, like, very obvious. I just keep reading. Like, I don't even think about it. Like, I just, they'll tell me in a minute what happened, like, that kind of thing. So I did give that 3 stars. The next book that I read, I finished it on the 24th, so that was quick. I think I read this book in a day. Squad by Maggie Takuta Hall, and was the cutest thing. So I went into this book actually thinking that it was a traditional, like, young adult novel, but it's actually a graphic novel. So that's why it only took me a day to read. But this is about a girl who moves to a new town with her mother, and she kind of meets these friends, these, like, popular girls, and the popular girls kind of bring her under their wing, and it turns out that the popular girls are werewolves and they kill people. So I loved it. I think my favorite part, while the storyline was good, I just really loved the art style. I think out of most of the graphic novels I've read recently, this art style has probably been my favorite. So even if the story doesn't really grab you, or, like, the idea of it, I really think you should read this because of the art style. I think it is beautiful. The storyline was good, but the art style was top tier. And then I finished Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. This book was my, like, most hyped book of all year. I was so ready for this book, and when I got an ARC from NetGalley, I screamed. And I was gonna read it way before, but I ended up actually reading it, like, kind of right when it got released. But I gave this book 5 stars. I was obsessed with it. This book basically follows Wallace, and in the first chapter, Wallace dies. So Wallace ends up meeting this girl while he's dead who can see him, and they go to this kind of way station between, like, living and dead. And Wallace is met by this amazing group of people, and they kind of are helping him transition into his next life. So literally, it is just, if you're not crying during the last 30%, what's wrong with you? While I liked House of Cerulean Sea better, this book just did so much for me. There were a few parts that I wanted a little bit more, but it didn't deter from, like, the entire book that I had to lower the rating. but I highly recommend this book if you are scared of death, if you're dealing with grief, there are trigger warnings in the beginning, so don't necessarily take my word for it. Like, read the trigger warnings before you read the book if those kinds of things are bad for you. But TJ Klune can honestly do no wrong. I say that and I probably am nervous to read any of his other books, but currently TJ Klune can do no wrong in my heart. I love that book. Next book I actually listened to, and it is Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I also gave this book 5 stars. I feel like I'm being very generous with my star ratings this month, and I think it's because I just didn't read a whole lot. I gave it 5 stars. I probably could bump it down, but so this book is basically about a girl who, we start out and she's at a school for some scholarship, and her roommate low-key gets her kicked out. But in the future, her old roommate comes back and is like, hey, you're my friend. Can you do this like thing for me? And I'll kind of pay for it. And so it is basically that her friend's husband is running for like senator or something. And he has 2 kids from a different marriage that are kind of hidden away, like they don't live with him, but they're coming to live with him because their mother died. But these kids, when they get agitated or angry or like their emotions spike up quickly, they catch on fire. Because same. So it made me so emotional. Like, I really felt for these kids, and like, just as the book was going on, I loved these kids. Their dad was a douche, but like, that's fine. I highly recommend this book. It's super short. It took me not long at all. I pretty much listened while I was cooking dinner like 2 or 3 nights, and I finished it. So if you're looking for like a short, quick read that is kind of funny, but mostly just like heartwarming, I recommend this book. Okay, and then the last book that I read in September, Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. And this, when I tell you this is the weirdest freaking book I've ever read, it was the weirdest freaking book I've ever read. It was only like 120 pages. So it's basically about this girl who is trying to sell an apple peeler online, and it's like a family heirloom. It's some inquiries that are not great, and then finally she gets one that is promising. But then she starts a relationship over email and IM, that she starts this relationship, and there's so much I could say, but it's all a spoiler. It's freaking weird. And so if you like weird, read this. It's very graphic at some points, and it is very uncomfortable, but it is so worth the graphic, uncomfortable text. And I wish I could keep elaborating on that, but that's all I have to say. It's freaking weird. So you gotta read it. Anyway, those are the 5 books that I read in the month of September. Already October is a million times better, but thanks for coming along with my journey of what I read and my wrap up that I never do. Maybe I'll start doing them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe, do what you need to do. Comment if you've read any of these, if you would like to read any of these, if you have any questions on any of these books, I'll chit chat with you down there. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.